Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year, everyone. It is Brian here of This Is What Brian Thinks Adventures. I respectfully thought I would like to provide a closing to 2022 update that's going to be airing on New Year's Eve, December 31st. That's tomorrow. So I will say at the end of the closing to 2022 update, it'll be New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2022. So here we go. So I really want to talk about some of the positive things, what has really happened during this past year of 2022. So here we go. This past year, I have accomplished a lot of positive things before and after I got my job with Loblaw City Market this past fall at the end of this September, 4 months ago. And before that, I also made the best of this past summer of this past year, last July, and 6 months ago, and August of 5 months ago. Most importantly, I just really wanted to give everybody a heads up of all the positive changes, what has really been going on. But before I get into that, I really want to talk about some excellent things that really happened during this last year of 2022. So for those of you who would like to know, is that I have reached over 16,000, 17,000 YouTube videos over the past year, and I'm nearing up to 20,000 YouTube videos. And in fact, those of you who would like to know, I made a lot of right decisions over this past year, especially before last summer drew near this past year, as well as after. Aside from all this, I'm also very excited to tell you is that I have been making a lot of very smart decisions over the past year of 2022. In fact, those of you who would like to know, I also got to see some amazing movies that came out in theaters this past year. Last winter, at the end of last January of last winter, I saw Sing 2 with my mom in South Common. We saw the 355, and we saw the Uncharted last February. And I also saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in April of last spring. Especially, we saw the Bad Guys movie last May of last spring, in May of last year, on my 29th birthday that day. And also saw Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness on my 29th birthday weekend in May of last spring. So really happened as well. And also had my 29th birthday party with my friends, who I used to go to school with in Alwy Carents, at Plaza Bowling Company last spring, this past year. So that happened. In fact, I was focusing very hard for the last 9 months since the end of last December and over this past year, 2022, getting my job issue turned around. And now, since the end of September and over the fall of October, November, and before and after the winter break drew near this December, I started joining the wonderful team at Loblaw City Market of Ice District part-time, and also started attending Soundwave at World Water Park at West Edmonton Mall for St. John on Saturday night, October 15th, 3 months ago. And 2 months ago in November, I went to the Steve Aoki Soundwave concert as well. So aside from all this, I'm very pleased to tell you is that this past summer and over the fall, I've been checking out the new ETS 2022 Proterra buses, especially the new ETS bus 2022 New Flyer Excelsior 40-foot low floor bus units, the new 72 series. And I'm very pleased to announce is that over this past summer, I was very understanding with all the changes, so focusing very hard to get my job issue straightened out, And I also made the very right decision and a safe decision for a third straight summer in a row to hold off my Calgary Stampede trip until this July of this summer of 2023, as well as the following summer in July 2024, as well as 2025. And for those of you who would like to know, is that this past summer, in July of this past year, 6 months ago, I was on the Global Edmonton News and the Street Performance Festival of Sir Winston Churchill Square at the beginning of Street Performance Festival after Canada Day last July of last summer. And I also got to attend K-Days over the summer in July of last year. And also, my mom and I, we went to Heritage Festival at the end of last July, last summer. And we also got to see DC League of Super Pets at the beginning of early August 5 months ago this past summer. So a lot of positive things really happened too. In fact, at the before the end of August, we got to see Bullet Train a couple times too. So we saw Bullet Train at Landmark Cinemas in Tamarack. We saw the Gulliver's Returns before the end of August. And I also saw DC League of Super Pets at the beginning of the first Saturday of September during Labor Day September long weekend after the kids and after school started too. So, in fact, for those of you who would like to know, is that, and then in mid-September, before I get into that, in the fall in September, 4 months ago, I got to go to the model train show, and I also met my friend Murray, who's from Calgary, who loves model trains. And I've also met a friend too, who drives the buses in here in Edmonton as well. Goes by the name Kwong, but I'm not going to say where he works though. But I really want to say I've met Kwong a couple times on the bus on the 73, on the New Flyer 60-foot low-floor articulated buses, the New Flyer Excelsior 60-foot low-floor articulated buses, as well as the diesel 60-foot low-floor articulated buses too, on the 73 downtown and Mill Woods Express routes this past year. And likewise, I'm also wanting to give everybody a heads up too. I tried the 500X Meadows this past October 2 months ago. A few days, 10 days after I attended Soundwave. And aside from all this, it was very amazing. And my mom really likes the 2022 Proterra buses. So we rode one of the ETS 2022 Proterras on 9 Eau Claire's 3 months ago in October. So this is how it all happened. And for those of you who would like to know, is that I'm very excited to announce is that, before I get into that, 2 months ago, mid-October, after I attended Soundwave, I started attending Special Olympics bowling at Bonnie Doon Bowling Lanes on Sunday mornings between October 16th to this spring at the end of this April of 2023, less than 5 months from now. It'll be less than 4 months from January as well. And I would also want to tell you is that I have made a lot of friends since before and after I started working for Loblaw City Market and Ice District part-time, and the same time I started bowling for Special Olympics bowling in October in the fall this year. So almost coming up 3 months this January of 2023. That's not that far from now. And those of you who would like to know is that I have been focusing very hard over the past year of 2022 to get things turning around. And I'm looking forward to getting some positive goals this year for 2023, as well as the following next year of 2024, 2025, 2026, beyond in the future. But right now, this is a special closing to 2022 update. And at the end of this video, I'm going to be saying New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2022. That's going to be live coming up tomorrow as well. So I hope you all will still stay tuned for that. And I really would like to say, before I go, during this past year was a bit of a rough year too, but you know what? I was able to get my job issue straightened out. And also, 4 months ago, in September this year, my mom, my stepdad, and I, we went to the Comic-Con at the Edmonton Expo Center in September 4 months ago, in the fall. The week after, I attended the model train show, and 2 days after, I was interviewed with Loblaw City Market. In fact, I have been making a lot of YouTube videos since before and after I got the job with Loblaws this fall as well. So, in fact, those of you who would like to know is that I have been working very hard since after I first started working for Loblaw City Market in Ice District since the end of September and the beginning of October, since before and after the Ice District location opened in November. There has been a lot of positive changes. In fact, I have recently wanted to give everybody a heads up too, is that I'm also very excited to announce is that I have made the most of this year, 2022. And over the summer, last July, I postponed and delayed my Calgary Stampede trip for a third straight summer. But I'm also planning to go this summer in July of this year of 2023, since I wasn't able to make my way this past July in 2022 because I had to get my job issues straightened out. And it was struggling during this past year of 2022. But, however, I was focusing on getting things turning around, and that was the important thing that really happened to me the most. So, those of you who want to know is that it's going to be coming up live New Year's Eve come tomorrow. So, and I really want to say before I go, I have been checking out a variety of brand new ETS 2022 Proterra buses and new ETS bus 2022 New Flyer Excelsiors too. In fact, this past year, even though it was very struggling, I made the very best and I focused very hard. And last summer, during this past year of 2022, I made the very safe decision and responsible decision, holding off one more year, attending the Calgary Stampede trip for Calgary Stampede for a third straight summer. But I'm also going to be going this summer in July this year, 2023, in less than 6 months from January, February of this year. After this winter and this spring, come this summer in July in 2023. And I really want to say is that before I get into the closing mark of part of this closing to 2022 update, I have made a lot of safe choices during this last year of 2022 and also temporarily postponing my trips that I had originally planned in 2022 that is being planned this year of 2023, next year 2024, and the following year after 2025. But the important thing of all is that I made the very safe and responsible and respectful decision to let my friends in Calgary know. Last summer of 2022, I was postponing my Calgary Stampede trip for a third straight summer just until this summer of this year, July 2023, coming up as well. And I really want to say is that It's the last day of 2022, and this is why I'm doing a closing to 2022 update. So, YouTubers, I really want to say Happy New Year, December 31st, Happy New Year's Eve, everyone, December 31st, 2022. And thank you for this closing to 2022 update. It's coming up live New Year's Eve tomorrow, December 31st, 2022. Have a good day, folks.